and 300 meters, the minimum safe distance to avoid the explosion. Attack altitudes and dive angles can be varied to meet almost any target requirement. To calibrate the sight, the rockets are first fired from a predetermined altitude and range in an exercise known as a combat sight setting. At 60 knots airspeed, 600 feet altitude, and 1,250 meter range, a series of 3 rockets are fired. This range is convenient, as it is the midpoint of the rocket's maximum effective range. After each rocket is fired, the sight pipper is adjusted in elevation to the burst. 3 shots are generally sufficient to get an accurate sight setting. It is important to establish the same flight conditions on each pass. The power required to hold 60 knots in level flight is used during the diving run while each rocket is fired. With the sight adjusted, subsequent targets are engaged with no further changes in the sight setting. Changes in range are compensated for by aiming 4 mils high for each 100 meters beyond the midpoint range of 1,250 meters, and 4 mils low for each 100 meters less than 1,250. Crosswinds are dealt with by aiming 4 mils upwind for each 10 knots of crosswind over 10 knots. Delivery is from high or low level, and each rocket pass is generally followed by a minigun pass. Coverage of small LZs often requires rocket delivery from close range. Small LZs in rugged jungle terrain and proximity of friendly forces often dictate steep rocket passes and close-in minigun passes. There are certain cardinal rules for armed helicopters which are accepted and practiced by all experienced pilots in current combat operations. If possible, start the engagement of the enemy at the maximum effective range, 2,500 meters for the 2.75 rockets and 1,000 meters for guns firing 7.62 ammo. Avoid target overflight. The majority of aircraft hits from ground fire occur during target attack. The type of mission should be considered. Is it destruction? Or is it suppression of enemy fire? You must also consider the terrain and its features. Avoid flying parallel to terrain features which, if occupied by an enemy unit, would give them an advantage in observation and firepower. Flying parallel to a tree line is dangerous. The enemy may be concealed there, and his line of fire will be oriented toward open grass, toward you. Avoid flying into the dead man zone, the airspace between 50 and 1,500 feet. The most hazardous area is from 50 to 500 feet. If the task must be accomplished below 1,000 feet, then fly contour, using terrain features for concealment wherever possible. The flying techniques for exfiltration or extraction of friendly teams are the same as those used during infiltration. A normal sequence of events for an extraction would be: the ground patrol reports they have been discovered. They are moving toward a landing zone. An airborne controller launches his U-10. He will assist in directing the team to a landing zone where they can be picked up. He will also determine the seriousness of the situation. Gunship crews get ready for immediate launch. The patrol team reports they have made contact with the enemy. They are running. Gunships launch and are directed to the area by the forward air controller. Guided by instructions from the ground team, the gunships strike the enemy. The forward air controller gives headings and distance to the ground team. They will arrive at nearest landing zone in about 15 minutes. The airborne controller launches the slick for pickup. The patrol team reports they are in the landing zone and receiving fire. Gunships attempt to suppress enemy fire with miniguns and rockets. A second set of gunships is launched to replace the first pair, whose ordnance is about expended. The first pair refuels and rearms as they may be needed again soon. The patrol team reports from the LZ. There is no further firing from the enemy. The gunships confirm that they are not being fired upon. They call the pickup helicopter in to recover the team. Their mission complete, all aircraft return to base for refueling and rearming. The versatility of the Air Force helicopter, its ability to land almost anywhere in remote areas or rugged terrain, its reliability and firepower all make it a formidable weapon system. The Huey is unexcelled in a counterinsurgency role.